and we were talking to you about this crazy idea we had of making a movie. And here we are with the movie.
Beer man drank us under the table last night.
Yeah. So there was a lot of cool appearances from like special internet personalities and all that with the movie. I don't want to spoil anything if anyone hasn't seen it. But I'm just curious if there was anyone that you like tried to get and couldn't get, anyone that wanted to be in the movie or you wanted to be in the movie that couldn't show up.
Yeah, the most heartbreaking schedule conflict I would think during the casting process was when we tried to get Tom Hanks to play the nerd.
Yeah.
But,
you know, I always said, if anybody's going to play me, I wish it was Samuel L. Jackson. I just want to see Samuel L. Jackson get mad at a video game.
Being a person who's into film too, and I've known the hardships of it, like what was the hardest part of making your movie?
I can answer that.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, at least on my end, the hardest part of the movie was James during the power pad sex scene. There's nothing but sex jokes. I gotta get off this like dirty, this dirty thing.
I think the effects were the hardest part. Even though they were meant to look cheesy, you know, they're all like miniatures on strings and stuff like that. And we have a monster, a guy in like a suit, and we have an animatronic alien that's actual animatronics. So even though we were trying to make it kind of cheesy, it was still hard to pull them off, and then it makes you realize like, oh wow, this is why like mostly everything's CG, which is still a lot of work. CG's a lot of work, but like when you're dealing with something that's like really there, it's like there's all kinds of physical problems you have to deal with. So it was harder than it looked.
Yeah, the hardest part was minimizing the compromise. These guys wrote a script so incredibly imaginative and basically included every single movie genre ever known to man and every prop effect and just trying to pull all that stuff off on a very small budget that we had. It was constantly challenging.
Impressive for a fan-made indie film though, but still like we'd be like, all right, Sean, we need a plane, we need a tank. So there you go.
You would tease us with the tank. We'd be like, we need a tank. He's like, maybe we can get you a tank, maybe not.
You guys be nice, we'll get you a tank.
We showed up, and there was a tank. It's like, thanks, Sean.
Yeah.
Thanks for the tank.
From everything that you've done from like up until now and everything you've done in the past, like when first beginning filmmaking, what has always been like your inspiration, like your main drive to like make all these things you believed in a reality?
What was the main drive to make the films a reality? Like since day one?
Yeah.
I have no idea. That's a good question because it's just insanity, I guess.
I think it was Robert Palmer.
I think Robert Palmer. Yes, of course. Yes,
Palmer.
It was Robert Palmer.
James's friend, who's local here, and we're just very fortunate. We all grew up in the same town, went to school together, in one way or another, sort of met through making movies as kids. And it's crazy to be doing it on a large scale now, but you know, I'm sure a lot of people here are the same way. You just want to do something when you're little. You just keep doing it until somebody makes you stop, or you can't pay your rent or something. Unfortunately,
a lot of that stuff was like before YouTube even existed. So a lot of times the thing that's going to be your outlet that is going to be able to get your stuff out there doesn't even exist. Or this movie, for instance, we went all around Los Angeles and Hollywood trying to figure out, go to studios and whatnot. And then suddenly crowdsourcing became popular, so then that gave us an ability to do it. So that's the important thing, is just to keep making things, and somehow the thing that's going to be able to get you to do it will magically appear, I think. So
keep on going.
Count on that, yeah. Does anyone remember Robert Palmer?
What are we talking about Robert Palmer for?
I can't stop talking about Robert Palmer. Who raise your hand if you know Robert Palmer?
Simply Irresistible.
Simply Irresistible.
Addicted to Love?
What was the other one?
Simply irresistible, addicted to love.
Addicted to love. Yeah. Anyway, true story about James. He probably doesn't want me to talk about this, but it's behind the scenes. And it'll be really interesting for those of you who don't know Robert Palmer.
I don't sleep well, is what it is. Like I'm a very lousy sleeper. I just can't sleep much.
I turned to him, I was like, sleep well? This is true. I was like, did you sleep okay? He was like, oh, 50-50. And I was like, oh, like an Arnold Palmer drink, like half iced tea, half lemonade. and he said, Robert Palmer? And
I know what he said. I thought he said Robert Palmer.
Yeah, and I was like, no, Arnold Palmer. And then he confessed that every time he can't sleep, Robert Palmer comes to him in his dreams and starts singing Simply
like all the
Irresistible.
girls, like in the music video with all the girls dancing, like the weird girls with that blank expression, and they all come into the bedroom like, well, I'm trying to sleep.
I can't sleep. What has it go?
That is a lyric in there. Yeah.
I can't eat.
That's Phil Collins now.
No, that's
Robert Palmer.
That's Addicted to Love. Yeah.
Might as well face it, James ain't getting to sleep. I'm like that.
That would be pretty annoying if they just came in, they just busted into your bedroom every night and just woke you up with that song.
Which is what happens to you.
Yeah, that's what happens.
It's horrible sleeping.
There's a dream sequence in the AVGN movie that's based on James's real dreams, and
that is true. Yeah.
In the there may or may not be a sequel, but if there is, the Robert Palmer dream is in. I think it's in.
Robert Palmer.
It's in.
It's in.
Yeah. Robert Palmer. So thank you for asking about Robert Palmer. That was you, right? That was your question?
Because I used to do game reviews, not so much anymore, but like, is there any kind of like software, video editing software you could recommend, like for those who are probably on like a tight budget or?
Ask me for a video editing software to recommend. Yeah. Because I don't think I'm actually probably not the best one to ask, because I think most people are on PCs, I think. Yeah, and on PCs, there's plenty of different video editing softwares available. The one that because I use a Mac and I've used Final Cut for like 10 years now, but they've never updated it. It's Final Cut 7 was the last one that Apple ever made, and they haven't been updating it. And they did do Final Cut X, and it sucks. So basically, I'm still waiting for like a continuation of what the old Final Cut is like, you know. Yeah. Like it was an update. It wasn't an update. It was like they changed it completely. They did a completely different thing, and almost everybody hates it. But they're I don't know. They're just not doing much about it.
The cheapest, I think, that's out there, and we talked about doing a project going back to the old days, is probably VHS deck to deck.
Yeah.
Super efficient.
We were masters at that.
Yeah.
Your mom's JVC has a good audio insert dub feature, right?
Yeah, the dub feature was actually.
I don't really want to admit this, but I kind of enjoy Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde just a little bit. So, is it really as bad as you say it is, or is it just?
Oh, it's worse.
So now you guys got into the conversation about Robert Palmer.
Yeah!
I was going, what the hell is my question now? It's like, did you ever notice in the music videos that the girl has the guitar, but when they do the close-up of the guitar solo, like her arm is hairier than mine? And also, they look so calm and everything, and whenever he's singing, he's like sweating and like looking so serious. Like once the camera turns off, he's dead.
Yeah. Big fan of your work. I used to watch your show in high school, and I saw you liked drinking Rolling Rock, and I thought, man, I have to drink that once I turn 21. And it was kind of, I'm sorry, it was a disappointment.
Are you 21 yet?
Don't worry about it. Okay. So, if you were to walk into a microbrew now on the West Coast where there is no Rolling Rock, what kind of beer would you order?
Well, what's funny is that people think, because it's in the videos, that that's actually what I drink, like, all the time. You know, it's like not true. It's like, you know, the videos. But if I were to walk into a brewery right now, like I would go for some kind of Hefeweizen. Yeah.
My friend from Hungary had a message for you. He just wanted to say, like, the LGN games, they didn't actually make games. They outsourced them to, like, different developers. Like, Atlas developed Friday the 13th, and then, like, Rare did Nightmare on Elm Street. So.
You know what's funny is, like, everybody keeps saying that to me all the time, but, like, that LGN didn't develop the games, but I never said that in the videos. I don't say like, oh, this game was developed by LGN, it's made by LGN, because the thing is, every game that's made by LGN has this shitty stamp of quality on it.
Yeah.
It's the same shitty stamp of quality. So they were behind it. No, they didn't develop the games themselves. But
but I think they're responsible because they gave the developers like very little time constraints to make a game.
Exactly. Like they just had some kind of like ingredients to just be like, okay, look here, you're working for us. We don't do good games. We make them shitty. This is how you do it. You know?
All right, James. I've been watching your show since you started, 10 years. You got me through high school, you got me through college, and I still watch it. Thanks.
Did you pay for his college, James?
I wish, but no. 2 questions. One, I remember you were there during the glitch episode.
Yeah.
My name's Kevin. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, and watching the...
I remember you. I know your name.
Okay, well, the thing is, I also...
Robert.
No, it's not. I was wondering, how did you get it to work? Like, is it the glitches happen frequently, or they happen like at a chance of a blue moon that you just nailed it?
Oh, it's both. There's kinds of glitches that are incidental, and there's kinds that you can trigger. So it depends on the video. Like in Mike's videos, he'll explain like how to do the glitch.
The main thing is there are glitches in my me britches, and then get to your fucking game. Yeah. Long story short.
Now that you've handled E.T. in the movie, what is going to be the big requests that you're getting? Where people were saying, do E.T., do E.T. Is there another second in command that it seems like everyone's trying?
That is for everyone else to answer.
Hey. I am a big fan of yours. I really enjoyed watching all of the monthly making of the movie YouTube episodes. My wife is working on her first movie web series kind of thing, and every time you watch one of those episodes, she's like, oh my god, yes, everything is a nightmare, and this is so incredibly hard. I'm just curious on all of when the DVDs come out and stuff, is there going to be a lot of that from other points of view other than yours? Like other
interviews and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that. We're going to have a ton of bonus features on the DVD. We have commentaries. We're going to have interviews from cast and crew, all put together, So the documentary about the making of the movie, because we want to walk you through the whole process. We want to tell you everything that went into making the movie from beginning to end. So the documentary is probably going to, it could possibly be as long as the movie.
Is the nerd character going to be affected by the adventure that happened in the movie?
When it goes back to episodes, you mean?
I mean, presumably if you go back to doing episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same way that one video relates to the other video. Okay. It's kind of like how there isn't really how in the X-Men video, there's a part where the nerd shoots lasers at his eyes at the game. And it's like, if he had that capability, why didn't he use the lasers on Bugs Bunny when he was fighting aliens and stuff? So it's like, there's no real, connection. And I don't know why, there never was. It was just kind of each episode is a free-for-all. It's whatever happens. So in the same way, the movie is a free-for-all, where it's just a different, everything kind of just gets reset when it goes back to where it was. But maybe there could still be some references to it, Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage.
I got a question for you, Johnny.
What's that?
Are those abs prosthetic?
Nope.
Are you flexing right now, or is that a resting state for your abs? That's phenomenal.
Yeah. Look up for this guy's abs.
Did you pick up any chicks while you were here?
I've got a question.
How do you follow that up, yeah?
So, first off, James, you've been very influential in my life, I'd say.
If I were to get those abs,
you're not going to let yours come true.
But in particular, in the way I view film and all of this stuff, and so a big part of that has to, something that comes up a lot with friends and stuff, because we watch movies and stuff, is, I say and stuff too much, is CG. It's it doesn't bother a lot of my friends a lot, or it doesn't bother them at all, ever. And I don't know, I have a really hard time describing what it is that bothers me about gratuitous unnecessary CG.
Okay.
You know, do you ever have to like explain that to like a person who isn't too into film, or like?
Yeah, I mean, they just don't
justify it, if you will.
Okay, you say they just don't mind it, like.
Yeah,
you know.
but even they're bothered by the fact that it bothers me. They're like,
oh, really?
I just don't understand your opinion. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I think it's just that. Like, I think that some people won't mind it, some people will, because it's they're still making movies like that. If the voice was heard enough, because I hear people complain about it all the time, like CG. Everybody's like, oh, everything's CG, but they're still doing them. So there obviously the voice must not be loud enough for them to stop doing it. And obviously, you know, it's not like stop CG entirely. They just overuse it too much. They use it for everything, and eventually nothing looks real anymore. Like even if they do a really good job, I mean, sometimes you know it can be really awesome, but a lot of times you just are like, okay, well, it's just you go numb to it because everything just it looks like a lot of times like movies you're looking at, everything in the shot is CG. And it looks like the cutscene to a video game. And then also the video games are having longer and longer cutscenes where you're just like watching a movie most of the time. So I think that movies and video games are going to become the same thing eventually.
It's true. I feel like practical effects age really well, but CG ages really poorly. Yeah, like
true.
Titanic, it's just like, what the fuck is this ship? It's like,
well, look at like Reptilian or something like that.
Yeah. It's so, yeah, I think practical effects is a safe bet, man.
And there's also something to the amount of people that go into a practical effect where, you know, like one guy sitting in a room, and certainly several people can contribute to one scene that's made up of CG, but, you know, from somebody building an alien puppet to all the people on set to it being lit properly, like it's a lot more collaborative and there's a lot more energy that goes into it. I think it comes across too on screen.
It's a real thing. It's a real thing in front of the camera. But it's also just like, I think practical effects were getting better. Like it was getting better as they kept going, and then they just stopped it all like, prematurely, and now it's like a dying art or a dead art. And, you know, so it's like I don't think you should just cancel out one technology just because a new technology becomes available. It's like use the best of both. You know.
Can we have a moment of silence for practical effects? Hey. I'm just kidding.
Thank you very much. That was fantastic answers.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thanks for abs.
All right, James.
Yeah.
I have a very special request. I have a lot of people at home I need to make jealous. Can I come up there and stand with you and videotape you screaming obscenities at my phone?
At the phone?
Yeah.
You know what? You fucking phone, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're stupid, I don't like you. What the fuck? You fucking piece of shit phone. Fuck you.